I'm Ron Snyder. I'm an insurance broker.
And I'm Kyra Snyder. I am a stay-at-home mom.
We got Rico when he was a puppy. He was about 9 weeks old, and we were told a few things that caught our attention. One, he was the pick of the litter, and not really having a full understanding of what we were getting into. We thought we were getting something, this amazing animal. As a couple of years went by, we realized that we had a dog that was very intense and had some behavioral issues.
It got to the point where he was barking and lunging at every other dog that was walking by, and it became a real problem. So we started going through the phone book, looking for trainers. Wasn't really happy with the people that we were talking to. And Rico was such a, he needed a really good trainer. So we were very picky about who we were looking for.
We knew that we were going to have to go out and actually search through the list of dog trainers, and in doing so we heard a couple things that we weren't really keen on, but after speaking with Nick, we knew that we were on to someone who could not only change the dog's behavioral issues but actually make him more of a family dog, so we didn't have that fright of possibly having to put a dog down that was so intense.
And when we got on the phone with Nick, he was very knowledgeable. He specifically worked with German Shepherds among many others, but for us it was the German Shepherd that we really needed. Very knowledgeable, and then when he came to our house, that just kind of sealed the deal, because he obviously, with Rico, knew exactly what he was doing. It's one thing to say you know what you're doing, but to get and meet the animal and watch that interaction, it amazed my husband and I. So we went ahead and let Nick take care of Rico for a little bit, and he was just another dog. He was completely different. We could take him on walks and we weren't embarrassed, and we didn't have to hold him back and hold him down, and he just did a fantastic job for us. So we were very happy with Nick.
Well, Nick did a number of things, but first and foremost, he made it a point to come out to the house and actually work with us, and right in the driveway do some things that he called immediately that we weren't doing to help rectify a few of the problems. He pointed out that Rico was more or less a teenager that needed some guidance, and I was a little bit intense with the training with Rico, and Nick told me that there are some things that you're doing right and some things that you're doing wrong, so you definitely need to take it a little bit easier with Rico, watch me, watch what I'm doing, and he really did guide both Kyra and I as far as what we should be doing with him on a daily basis.
We've always had German Shepherds, so we thought when we got Rico that he wasn't anything that we couldn't handle. We soon found out that that wasn't necessarily the case, and decided to go ahead and not worry about the ego thing, that we could do it, and go ahead and call Nick. And I am so glad that we did, because what Nick did is not anything that we could have done. We both have busy lives, busy doing things, and you have good intentions of being able to train your dog, but the fact of the matter is we could not have done what Nick did for Rico, and I'm so glad that we went ahead and had him work with Rico. It made a huge difference.
If you're looking for a dog trainer, someone that knows what they're doing, I would definitely highly recommend Nick and Iguard at Iguard. Reason being is he does know these animals better than anybody who we have interviewed and that we've talked to.
Well, it's easy to just go ahead and pick a name out of the phone book, but when you're working with your animals, and especially one that needed such training as Rico did, because he was so intense, and he was at the point where we didn't know if we were going to be able to keep this dog, because we were worried about him biting somebody. That's not something that you want to just get anybody to do for you. It's very important. This is our family dog, and it's we wanted to have him for his full life, and choosing just anybody out of the phone book wasn't an option for us, and it really paid off in the long run with Rico, because we have friends over now, and Rico is great with them. We take him for walks, and he's not lunging at other dogs and other people. It's just not something that I would recommend picking any old name out of the book. It made a big difference going with a professional as Nick is. We had no intention of getting a second dog, but after Nick worked with Rico, and he did such a fantastic job with Rico, we were getting a really good feel for his breeding and his accreditation and his superior quality of dogs that he has. So we decided to go ahead and get one of his puppies. In doing so, he kept us up to date on his puppies when they were going to be born. A couple weeks after they were born, we were able to go in and take a look at all of them, get to know them, the scents and smells, and that rapport building took place from a very early age with the puppies. And part of that process was that Nick was able to match the temperament of the puppy to our family and our needs. It was as if we were adopting a baby. It was from, the very get-go to the very end that he kept us involved and in the loop, and it was a great experience, and we love our puppy from Iguard.
I would definitely look at Nick's puppies. That he has some beautiful animals, German Shepherds that he sells, and I have no complaints with his German Shepherds whatsoever.
If you're looking to purchase a superior German Shepherd like we were, I would absolutely recommend Iguard. He was fantastic. His breeding, we've had a lot of different shepherds in the past, and to see the difference of going with an Iguard German Shepherd versus the other breeds that we've had, it's an amazing difference, and it's the top quality dog, and I would highly recommend going with Iguard for your next German Shepherd.
My name is Jerry Morse. I'm a retired school administrator now working as a professor at Washington State University in the Education Department. We had German Shepherds for 25 years too, two dogs, one for 12 years, one for 13. I encountered Nick. He had a puppy that was available, and needless to say, we bought that animal from him and are so pleased. I think when you're buying a dog, you get what you pay for. But you do know what you're getting from Nick when you do buy a dog. There's a lot of background information that he has available that you would not come up with if you obviously bought a dog at the pound. The reason that we went with Iguard is because I've researched a great deal of information about German Shepherds on the internet, and knowing Nick, I think he offers a customer, a potential buyer, more than many of the other breeders. Nick's dogs and his breeding program are very, very organized and structured. Nick can trace the dog's history back for years, and I think that's very important when you're looking for a dog that's going to have longevity, when you look for a dog that's going to have no problems in terms of health issues. Unfortunately, there are a number of puppy mills out there, and we know what we are going to get when we deal with Nick. He's not in a business just to sell dogs. He's in a business to find an appropriate home for an animal, match up a buyer and a dog, and I really felt that that was crucially important when we did buy our dog. When we bought Riley, we knew exactly what we were getting, and we knew there was going to be service after the sale. Our dog is a member of the family, and he goes almost everywhere we go, and I'm so pleased that he can do that, because frankly our first two German Shepherds that hadn't been trained struggled a bit out in public, and Riley has no problems with that, and I think that can be attributed somewhat to Nick's training and being an Iguard animal. If you are at all considering buying a German Shepherd, I would seriously suggest that you contact Nick Lungu at Iguard International. And the reason I'm saying that is because I have 6 years now of experience in dealing with Nick, and not just our German Shepherd Riley, but other German Shepherds that he has raised. And I cannot speak any more highly of a breeder than I can of Nick and Iguard International.
My name's Jennifer Forster, and my husband and I own a financial firm. I found Iguard International through a referral, noticed an obedient dog in our business office space, and just observed its behavior and thought it was great. Was impressed. Actually, Nick came to our home because he wanted to observe the dog in its natural environment, which I thought was wonderful because dogs behave differently in different environments. So it was great to see that he would want to know how the dog behaved on its own. He sat back and observed, told us he wanted us to know what kind of a plan the dog we'd want for the dog, what we'd want out of our dog, and then was basically evaluating the dog's potential and our family environment. He asked us what we would like the dog to be able to do, what our wish list was for the dog, what we'd like to see the dog be able to accomplish. He made reference to the fact that he wanted the dog to be able to perform for us. And I never thought about that before. What would I like the dog to be able to do for us? He taught us to be able to communicate with the dog, understand the dog's language, and be able to not be afraid of being in charge. Our dog was very wild, very disobedient, very hyper, jumped up on our children, which was a big concern, and within 2 training sessions, the dog sits on command, walks on a leash on command, will lay down in a specific area for up to 20 minutes. It was very impressive. I don't think all dog trainers take the time to understand the dog and the family, because part of training a dog, I think, is also training the owners. We feel that Nick is not the average dog trainer. He goes above and beyond. He answers his cell phone to take question calls. He basically becomes like a family member, in particular during the training process, to make sure that we understand what our responsibilities are and how to take care of our dog. And it's unlike any other dog training experience I've had. And our dog has learned a tremendous amount in such a brief amount of time that I would highly recommend him to anyone. Because of Iguard International and our training with Nick, we have a much more rewarding relationship with our dog. Our dog is pleasant to be around, a joy to have, and more like a family member as opposed to a job. If you're thinking about purchasing a dog, in particular a German Shepherd, I would highly recommend Iguard International. I've had a positive experience with them. I like everything about them. I've heard only good things about them. They've come specifically recommended to us from very respected people in our community, and we have nothing negative to say. We've had a great experience.